Welcome to the Marketing Innovators Podcast. Today we have Wafa Sayeed-Irtiza, who is the VP of Marketing at a life sciences SaaS company called ACTO. Wafa brings over 15 years of marketing experience ranging from media advertising to health and life sciences. Wafa graduated from La Trobe University in Melbourne, Australia, and is passionate about data-driven social impact. She spends her free time with plants and everything that social studies encapsulate. Wafa, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mouneeb. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. So, Wafa, tell us a little bit about your backstory and how you ended up in your current role.
For sure. Marketing fell on my lap by luck, by opportunity. I actually studied business and international trade. I studied in Australia. I moved back home to Pakistan, and that was where I was looking into getting into a company that is obviously dealing with import export or some kind of multinational company and starting my career there. That didn't look very exciting. I started realizing very quickly that I'm a creative person and I couldn't stick to roles like that. Then I tried my hand in financial. On the financial side of things, I was in retail banking. That was fun as long as I got to be creative. I was a customer relationship officer. It was great while it was creative, but again, when I saw the opportunities that it was bringing to me, they all look like, you're going to go work at the head office behind the big cubicles and thinking about strategies, and I just thought this isn't me. So I was thinking and looking around for opportunities, and just by luck and through networking, I came across a marketing opportunity at a media company at a radio station that was just starting up. It had just been around for a year. So I talked to the CEO. The CEO asked me just a simple question. She's like, "This is a marketing role. What do you know about marketing?" I was very excited to give her a marketing definition by the book. And she turns to me and she goes, "It's selling. Can you do that?" And I thought to myself, wow, okay, let's blunt. And that was it. That's how I signed up for the marketing career. And over time, I have been keeping up with the trends. By nature, I just like to challenge the status quo. So when I moved to Canada about 10 years ago, I had the opportunity to really think about where I want to take my career next. There was digital marketing, and there were so many other avenues of marketing that were becoming specialized, like experiential marketing. Where did I want to go? I was getting interested in the data side of things. So I said, let's start with social media and see what kind of data that brings in. I started my own little consulting, and I was working with healthcare professionals and doing their social media marketing. That opened up a lot of opportunities for me to think about how I can grow my business. But immediately, I knew that I wasn't ready to just start a business. I wanted to learn more, and especially about the data side of things. I went back to school. I studied data, strategic relationship marketing, which is incorporating database marketing and data-driven strategies. And that opened up a new world for me. I started working for companies that were still in the startup environment, but were looking to be data-driven, not just their marketing departments, but their product was also data-driven. So it kind of built that bridge for me because I had studied a little bit of data and data analytics. So it kind of made me understand how a company that sells data or a data-driven solution, how I can actually market that. And therefore, I ended up at ACTO through a few experiences and through a few companies. ACTO, actually, the way I got to learn about it was when I was still in school looking for an internship as part of the program. And I came to ACTO and I said, will you guys have me? I'll do whatever it takes. I'm in marketing, and you guys have a data-driven product, and I think I could bring data-driven marketing solutions to you. That time they were very early stages of a startup, and that opportunity did not work out. Then I moved to another company, and I remembered what ACTO did. And I thought that because of the solution that ACTO is, which is helping sales teams learn effectively so that they can actually perform better and actually have impact on sales, I thought that we wanted that solution for our company. So I brought the ACTO team in and connected them with our company, and we tried to look into the opportunity of bringing that solution in. That time, ACTO was industry agnostic. Um, that also didn't work out. So that was strike two. And that didn't work out because soon that company that I was at was it was going through changes and then getting acquired. So then third time round, ACTO contacted me and said, "We remember you, and we remember that you knew about our product and you brought everyone to the table when you were assessing it. We think that you can be a great member of the team and help build marketing." And it was a no-brainer. And that's where I've been. It's been 3 years now, and I'm still growing as a marketer.
Mm. And you started off as a marketing manager, then the director of marketing, and now you're the VP of marketing over there.
Correct.
Excellent.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more about ACTO itself, so that we can get a bit of an idea as far as what is it that you serve and how you actually conduct business.
Yeah. Simplified, so ACTO is an omni-channel education platform for life sciences. We are setting the gold standard in education and engagement when it comes to the life sciences and healthcare. And what that essentially means is that for every learner that is in the care continuum, starting from the pharma or the medical device company where you have a researcher building the next innovation, researching to make the next drug or device, all the way to the patient, every stakeholder that's involved, every learner that is involved who needs to know how this product or how this drug or how this device operates, works, and brings clinical value. How do you educate them? How best you can educate them is what we bring. We bring that solution. We call it omni-channel because we're saying that there are different kinds of learners, different personalities, different kind of backgrounds, so different kind of objectives also. How do you bring that consistent experience that the company is trying to communicate, the brand experience, the clinical value that has been approved by regulatory authorities such as FDA? How do you bring that consistency across to the whole care continuum, across to all of the learners? We're saying with an omni-channel experience, basically, no matter what channel it is, there's one message that they're getting from a single source of truth. We bring all of those technologies and solutions together. So it's a suite of tools. People who usually use them are trainers, sales, marketing, sometimes HR. It's a SaaS company, and it's a software, and it collects a lot of data at the back end. So you also have other teams, commercial excellence and medical education as well, who's leveraging the data that they get to see from how the sales or the medical teams are learning and how they're performing in the field.
Mm. And I understand that ACTO has grown quite a bit in the past several years. Can you maybe describe how marketing has played a role in its growth?
Yeah, of course. So when I joined ACTO, it was a startup. Today is a scale up. For a bit of context, I think when I joined, it was just around 10 people. Today, we're over 150. By the end of this year, we're going to be over 150 people. We've grown pretty
And this
fast.
this
3
is in how
years.
many years?
In
3 years.
3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 years. By the end of December, it'll be 3.5 years. And yeah, we would have had a little over 150 people. And where ACTO sorry, you were asking how marketing has contributed to the growth of ACTO. So marketing came in as at a startup. What do? You go for that first traction channel that's working. The traction channel that was working for ACTO was events and bars and relationships. So when I came in, I was enabling the team to be at events, to have a stronger positioning at the events. It was very basic, but it worked. It was very powerful for our sales team and for our executive team to build further relationships with the market. So that was our first traction channel. And at the back end, what we were doing is collecting that intelligence and thinking about how to develop not only the solutions for the market to solve their problem, but also how to communicate to this industry. These people in pharma and medical device companies are busy. They have a very different kind of schedule. They learn differently. They learn how they engage on LinkedIn, how they engage on different platforms. I was collecting all of that intelligence and then slowly trying out different digital campaigns, different messaging. And today we're doing, while we started from events as our traction channel, today we have most of the traction channels working under the marketing department. And our major focus today is digital marketing and growth.
Excellent. And I understand that, a key piece here, it's interesting. You've seen the journey kind of from a startup to a scale up right now and experienced that level of growth. So obviously the marketing that worked back when you were a startup it's very different from what it is today. I would love to hear about the transition there and also the team development side of things, because I think that's a core piece when it comes to making the marketing successful as to how you tackle that. So can you maybe shed some light on how you've grown the marketing team to adapt the company from a startup to a scale up?
Yeah, for sure. Great question, Mouneeb. So, like I said, the first channel, our first traction channel was events, and we were starting to see a lot of, we were starting to understand the personas of the market from those interactions, from our networks, and from being at these events and having conversations with the market, the prospects, the ICPs, and the non-ICPs, the whole ecosystem of pharma medical device. When you have these conversations, they really start giving you an understanding of what these personalities are like. And that's very important for marketers, and everyone knows this. It's a no-brainer that if you understand your audiences and you understand their pain points, you can bring the solutions. So the question was, how are we going to educate them about the solutions we have? Traction channel events is one of the ways to do it, but they are acquiring knowledge in so many different places. They go to webinars, they go to conferences, they go to online sources. They even learn today on LinkedIn, right? So we were also watching and trying out all these different channels over the last 3 years, what works for our audiences. And as we were observing where our audiences are learning from, I was myself, my CEO, and the rest of the team, we were making sure that the marketing team is keeping up with the trends. So how was I scaling the marketing team and how was I getting them prepared for the next year and the next quarter and the next month was education of the capabilities that we need to be able to bring that story. Social media marketing, digital marketing, even our creative team. So creative team is part of the marketing team and they design all these creative assets, visual assets, audio assets. Be data driven about it. See if your video, the one that you designed, works. Does it get engagement? We create enablement materials, see how that video performs in enablement when sales team or our customer success team shares it with the customers or prospects. And on the other side, see how the market responds to it. So every single person in our organization, marketing organization, is data driven. And we're pursuing to become better and more sophisticated with that. And that's what we were building on, is we know that the trends are going to be that it's not going to be just events. As we scale, as the industry scales, and as we were all watching in the last 10 years, how digital transformation was taking place in all industries, in our lives, in our behaviors, it was inevitable that we were going to go digital. It was inevitable that we were going to think about communicating with audiences at scale, large, but not necessarily in person. And so that's what's been happening. We started with in person. Today, we're doing it mostly digitally. And with COVID, just like every other company, we had to think about how do we do this? Events were no longer there. So, how are we going to reach our audiences? Luckily, we were already on that path. We just accelerated our strategies. Even in the marketing organization, we said, okay, immediately let's think about our website, our lead management function. Let's think about our content, and let's not stop the education journey that we've started with our audiences and with our brand. Let's continue that. And what we've done in the last year since the pandemic is just been focusing and growing that strategy.
Has COVID acted as a catalyst towards your marketing strategy?
To a certain degree, like I said, we were already planning to go there. We knew that as the company grows, As we want to create wider reach, we serve the US and Canada today, but our customers and their users and ACTO users are across the globe. And how would we then think about reaching different countries and regions? So it was already in our heads. What happened during COVID was um, it accelerated that idea. It accelerated that strategy. We said, okay, the moment is now, because it was an immediate
Mm,
shut off. There were no conferences we can go to. There was, how are we going to continue educating the industry? How are we going to continue engaging with our interest parties, the people who want to bring digital transformation into their organizations, into pharma companies and medical device companies? How do we continue
mm,
keeping this bridge? So all we did immediately was act really fast. But the first action that we took as a marketing team was give our customers what they needed. Our customers were also in the same position as us. They were suddenly having to be remote. They couldn't access their customers directly. They had their learners now sitting at home and not being able to come to meetings and national sales meetings, and their digital transformation had to take place. So, marketing immediately was shifted to supporting our customer success team and enabling the customer success team and the customers with content and material that they could use to keep their engagement going with their customers. But it was very easy for us to think that way because, of course, the solutions that any business brings is for its customers and trying to solve their problems. So the first few months was immediate shift to supporting our customers. And once, so to say, once the dust settled, then we just knew exactly what we need to do at our end. And we, like I said, it was
mm,
an acceleration of our vision and our strategy to, okay, we need a more robust website. We need a more robust lead gen and lead management function. We need a more robust CRM capabilities, marketing automation capabilities. And we started focusing on that. And at the
mm.
same time, we were
So,
also, again, retraining ourselves to think about how do we really, really create an omni-channel experience for omni-channel learning experience for our audiences.
mm. Yeah, because it seems that, definitely you were going through this rapid digital transformation internally, as well as helping your customers achieve that same goal too, through the platform. And, through this rapid change, hiring a team, enabling them with the knowledge to be able to support your customer success team. I can imagine the challenges that you would have experienced in that in those areas. Can you speak to some of those challenges as far as how maybe they were addressed in growing the marketing team?
Yeah. Let me tell you, so let me tell you the good stuff first, which is that Acto's
Yes.
culture is very collaborative. We're a very collaborative company, and our culture is very collaborative, and we're very supportive of each other within the marketing, within the departments, and then within the whole company. This department supports department, people support people, and there's a genuine friendship between among all of us. So um, we were so collaborative that even when we had to work remotely, that energy was still there. That drive, that grit, that willingness was still there. So our collaborations did not stop. We were, we were always using Zoom. Now we're using Zoom even more. We were always on Slack. Now we're using Slack even more. We were always using project management tool like Monday.com. Now we're using it even more. Everything that was supporting us digitally and remotely, even before COVID, just because it's a more efficient way of doing things, we started relying on that more. And we were savvy, so it was easy. So that was a great part of who we were. And when it all happened, what was on our plate. The challenges were for the marketing team, again, is also the collaboration, but in person. We're creative
Mm,
people, and we're also talking about data at the same time, and we're talking about numbers, and we love our whiteboards. We didn't have a whiteboard. We were all on Zoom calls, or like, you can have Microsoft Teams or whatever, when you're talking and you're waiting for the other person to stop, and there's internet connection issues sometimes. It could be so many things that happen. When you're in person sitting with someone and you're saying, okay, let's do this, and you're collaborating together on the same table or in the same office, is slightly different. So the challenges were, how do we get so many things done, but now with this new remote structure, this virtual structure? Again, I think because we were savvy already, it didn't take such a long learning curve, but the challenge was there. And we, throughout the year, throughout the last 12 months, we've, of course, as we've tried to do bigger, better projects, sometimes you're doing campaigns and you're thinking about that flow chart that you need to make for the campaign, the nurture campaign. How do you do it when you're just on Zoom? Thankfully, now there's
Mm,
digital whiteboards, etc. But that's, again, these are the challenges. I think another challenge was that, yeah, we had to grow our team. ACTO wasn't going to
mm,
stop scaling. ACTOs actually, because ACTO itself is a digital transformation solution for the industry, the demand for ACTO also got accelerated. As the industry realized that they do need to be more digitally savvy, more automated, more consolidative, ACTO came up as a great solution. So now there's a demand in the market right after COVID, and we need to meet those demands. And while that's happening, we need to create more marketing material. We need to do more of everything we were doing. So the challenge was, how do I keep up with all that deliverable? How do I keep our customers comfortable? How do I keep my marketing team sane while we're also delivering all of the stuff that we need to for the market, for the prospects that we have? And yeah, the question was we need to hire, but when and how and which
mm,
departments? Sorry, which functions of marketing? There's creative, there's lead gen, there's content. Within that is PR, there's digital marketing, etc. So we really had to sit back many times and look at every month, every quarter, and really think about the trends that are coming up. But again, with the support of ACTO's management, I was always given that opportunity to bring an idea to the table and say, look, this is where we are. If we want to do more here, we need more resources in this area. If it's PR, we need more resources here. If it's content, I need more resources here. If it's lead gen, and now that we're digital, probably we need more resources here. So then it became about hiring the right kind of people. Then that challenge came, hiring the right kind of mindsets, the people who are comfortable working remotely, the people who are going to fit into our DNA, but also bring their uniqueness. How do you find that right balance in this new world where you're interviewing virtually, where you're trying to gauge someone virtually? It wasn't. It was. It's been a challenge, but it's been a good challenge. Um,
mm,
so we scaled. We scaled the company. We scaled the whole the team at Acto, and then we also scaled the marketing team. But it came with the challenges of growth. It came with the challenge of getting the right kind of talent. It came with the challenges of what do we focus on first. And
mm.
prioritization, I think, is always going to be the biggest challenge.
So true. So I want to pick your brain a little bit about because you have a background in data. Um, how do you actually use data to find, okay, what is actually working for your organization and what isn't? Because it definitely it's very time consuming to create the right kind of content that
Yeah,
resonates with your audience.
yeah,
So how do you make those decisions when it comes to utilizing data effectively?
yeah. So I'm again going to pull away a little bit and ask you to look at it in this way. First of all, marketing department is there to meet the goals of the company. So what's the company's North Star? For us, we're scaling. So naturally, what would be our North Star? Our North Star. It would be growth. It would be to show this is our level of growth, and that growth demonstrates our success. Demonstrates that the solution that we're bringing to the market is actually in demand. It's solving people's problems. So it's very clear that we need to show that demand, and marketing builds that demand. So what are the KPIs that demonstrate that we are filling that demand? And then, therefore, if I'm filling that demand, that means first I need to go do my outreach. I need to go find people who are interested in learning about this, and then I'm pulling them in and educating them. I'm educating them about ACTO. I'm educating them about the trends in the industry. I'm educating them about the foreseeable future with digital transformation. So I'm doing that through thought leadership. I'm doing that through advertising campaigns. I'm doing that through various different ways, sponsorships of virtual webinars or conducting my own. So what are those typical KPIs? Now, again, if we've read the Traction book, or if we've read any digital marketing book, or any KPI book, then it's all about coming down to the basics first. So if it's talking about campaign, you have few KPIs or few indicators of what is working. If it's a digital marketing campaign, you're looking at conversion rates, you're looking at click-through rates, you're looking at CAC, or a few numbers like that. But then again, we have to keep reminding ourselves that this is for the North Star. So it's not just
Mm.
about how many people open the email, it's about how many right people open the email. So keep matching it with our profitable, addressable market, the market that we know will want to know about this, the market that is genuinely interested in this. Those are the people that I want to be opening our emails. And that's where I want to spend my dollar. Again, we're scale up. We're not a big conglomerate. We're not a big multinational company now with huge budgets. Every dollar counts. So it comes down to, if I have to look at the North Star, and this is the success we need to show, this is the growth we need to show from last year and the years before that, this is the number. If I'm at the bottom over here thinking about just my campaign, not even my PR, how they're doing, just my digital advertising, um, those conversions need to demonstrate that it's going for that ICP, for that ideal customer profile that we know will want to learn about ACTO. So there's the base level of digital marketing. Then you look a little higher and you say, okay, this campaign, what are the campaigns for this campaign? What are the KPIs for this campaign? The KPIs for a campaign could be, well, first of all, is it an education campaign, or is it directly a lead gen campaign? Is it a PR campaign, or is it a partnership announcement campaign? All of those, what that campaign may be under, then you have to think about, did that campaign work or not? It has its own
Mm.
KPIs. How much interest did it generate? How long did it take to bring any ROI? But also, again, ideal customer profile. So you keep thinking, you keep creating KPIs around that ICP to see if are we matching, are we delivering based on our strategy? And this is pretty standard. This happens with everyone. But I think for a verticalized solution like ours, ACTOs, which is first of all B2B, and then also specifically for life sciences companies, it's very important that we keep our goals pretty concrete and clear. And then we look at department. Well, we have creative unit, we have a lead gen unit, we have a content unit. How much content did we put out there that was actually leveraged, not once, not twice, but by three
Mm.
different cases? And by cases, I mean by our audiences, by our customers, by our departments. Did the sales team find value in this content? Did customer success team? Did our partnerships team? Because if I'm creating an ebook, it's not just for one, it's just not only for the market. I want to show my customers that. I want to enable my sales team to be able to leverage that ebook. Again, it's all about that dollar. How well did I spend that dollar? So that's another sort of KPI that we look at.
Mm. So when it comes to kind of obviously, when it comes to these hyper targeted campaigns for your ICP, um, you have to track what is working, what isn't working. Do you find that there are challenges there when it comes to data that is conflicting, or how do you separate those KPIs to know, okay, that this is exactly what is working in terms of the data that is coming through? And I'm speaking towards most of the challenges right now with platforms now restricting information. There's cookies that sometimes you cannot track anymore. So I know that Facebook and Google, they're restricting certain data as well. So how do you overcome some of these challenges when it comes to tracking the right kind of audience?
I think it comes down to, so see, again, it's industry to industry, and in our industry,
Mhm.
it's more about relationships. I'm serving an audience
Yeah.
that is the audience. Let's talk about the pain points of our audience now. Actors audience. These are life sciences professionals. These are marketers, sales trainers, medical education teams, compliance managers, etc., who are thinking about bringing the next device or product that can impact the patient. Now they're very busy and they're running their operations, they're running their departments, but there's this digital transformation taking place. And with COVID, it's even more needed right now. They need virtual solutions, they need digital solutions. So I need to figure out a way that I show them what I have, but I also know that they're right now inundated with all of these options. There are other solutions out there. We may be the consolidative solution that has many tools under one umbrella, but at the end of the day, other there are other tools like we have a micro learning training tool. Someone else also has it. We have a coaching tool. There's a point solution out there that's just coaching. Now, a manager who's sitting in that marketing department or sales department or training department is looking at five different tech stacks. They're looking at their tech
Mm.
stack and they have five different point solutions in there and they're thinking how to make it work. And they're probably sometimes not even thinking how to make it work, they're just dealing with it. They're using the CMS for something, they're using the LMS for something, they're using the coaching tool for something, they're using the sales enablement for something, because they just have to go through that motion and deliver on what they have to deliver, which is their targets, their success. Now, in all of that, what my purpose is to really find a way to stand out to them. Not because I'm saying my brand is cooler, but actually that we know your problem and we are going to try to solve it. So it's basically our energy and our efforts is to that's why our strategy has been, Mouneeb, to actually educate the industry. It's not necessarily
Mhm.
selling as much as it is first educating the people, it's earning their trust. And when they're not able to receive those emails, or because they're blocking, or if we're not able to track them, how do we still make sure that we're doing that? We're every day coming up with new ways to find a way to reach our audiences in a compliant manner and providing educational material. So right now, our focus is put those ebooks out there. It's okay if they're not coming into our sales pipeline. Let's just educate them. Let's put the material out there and put it in a place where they can find it. Um, your question about, it's getting harder and harder to track
Mm.
engagement. It's also getting harder and harder to predict. Facebook and LinkedIn, however, are also trying to address that by giving you uh, sort of, techniques and ways that you can address that. There's going to be a walled garden. These companies are walled gardens. They're not going to share the data with you. That's understood. But how do you see those insights and what they can lead to is what we have to be masters of. Is okay, if I'm seeing
Mm.
enough traction again on a certain concept, on a certain piece of content and a certain type of content, and it looks and it is somehow demonstrating to me that these are our ICPs because they're coming into the pipeline and they are talking to us, then how do I scale that? Okay, let's also find them in other places. And let's
Mm.
not disregard non-digital tools, partnerships. Industry partnerships make a big difference. We have in the industry, you have a lot of organizations that offer a community, so to say, a community for just pharma marketers, or a community for pharma trainers or life sciences trainers. Go through them. Provide your thought leadership there. Provide your education through that. With LinkedIn and with Facebook, it's going to change every day. Google's changing their algorithms. It's going to happen. But if you know how to extract your insights and then use them to scale a strategy, I think that's where the team wins. And that's why your team has to be data driven, not because they rely on just that form of data, but to understand what other forms of data can be leveraged. So you're
Mm.
again coming back to the last thing that I want to say is our technologies are going to change. Our marketing technologies are going to change. Our marketing channels are going to change. I think what the true uh, way to approach this is how agile is your team to be able to respond to that, and how much do you know your audiences? If one door closes, what's the other door that opens? Or if this is just a little window that's open, where can you find that big door or gate? But use those insights and
Mm.
again let them talk to each other and then create your strategy. So we're creating a
Mm.
hybrid model for that. We're that's one thing that I'm really excited about at ACTO, is that we again challenged, okay, in the form of education, there's, you can put out content there. That's inbound, outbound, whatever, you're doing it through AEs, sales teams, you're doing it through marketing. But again, if you're educating the audiences, you're building a relationship. You need to earn their trust. But you earn their trust by first understanding their problems, listening. So we're actually creating a very unique hybrid function within marketing and sales. And that's a hybrid because it's between marketing and sales. So there's SDR, there's BDR, there's account development, and there's ABM and marketing and demand gen. All of this has come together in one role, and then a function, a whole team around that role, which is when the interested parties come in, they might be requesting a demo, but some of them are saying, I just want to talk to a solutions expert. I don't want to see the demo. I don't want to get into a sales cycle. For those opportunities, we have someone there to talk to you, to just listen and understand what your problem is. And based on their understanding and expertise, and based on what you think is important for your organization, we'll try to match the solutions. We'll tell you which solutions of ours can actually solve your problem. So it's much more relationship based, it's much more consultative, but at the back end, it's a very sophisticated model. We have a model to actually gauge if there is a trigger event that's actually making this person come in into the dialogue. We're actually trying to help them sort of think about, well, do you have a product launch coming up? Do you have a product update coming up? What exactly is bringing that event? What event is taking place that you are thinking about this right now? Why we're doing this at the back
Mm,
end and assessing the interest, the intent. It's not always intent to buy, it's intent to learn, is what we're trying to get at. How are we capturing the intent to learn? That data is being collected, then intent to buy, then the propensity to buy. So that the people who really want to buy, we only share those leads with the sales team. And that makes our operations very efficient, and also helps us with that agenda of educating the industry. Genuine relationships.
mm,
You're not everyone's being put into the sales cycle.
mm. That's a really interesting point. A lot of companies really struggle to transfer between marketing and their sales team, to transfer data and the right kind of data between those two teams. And there's always this conflict that actually happens when companies are trying to develop those two teams as well. And at the same time, there's a lot of overlap. But it seems that this hybrid solution is the way to go to address that problem and hopefully
Exactly. I
find a
mean,
solution to
it's
it. Yes, yeah.
100%, Mouneeb. You said it, because the hybrid model is based. Look, this is happening with SaaS companies across the board. Let's skip to SaaS companies. Day to day, what's happening? As humans, we're engaging with technology more. Our lives
Mm,
are reliant on technologies. We have technology for our day to day work. We have technologies for our lifestyle. We have technologies for our social activities. So we rely on this very much. So based off of that, you really have to think about the fact that, in a way, we sometimes audiences, people, users are willing to offer information into their tools, into into the digital platforms. Like when you're downloading an ebook, you're willing to offer some amount of data to say that, okay, yeah, I understand. You're giving me a smart ebook. This has a lot of interesting ideas that can help me with my job. In exchange, I'll give you some of my information, who I am, how big my company is, whatever it may be, what my pain point is. This data comes in, and then again, with the idea of who needs to learn, who wants to buy, we use that data and try to understand our customers better. And then we make sure that the right information is going to sales, because it's all about efficiencies and not wasting anyone's time. This hybrid model is really interesting because of the fact that, again, it is data driven. It's not making decisions based on hunches. It's basing decisions on data, but also relationships. The data helps you understand who you need to talk to, who wants to talk to you, and then you start talking to them in person, and then you record that qualitative intelligence as well. In SaaS companies, SaaS technology is changing, right? So, like I said, technologies in our day to day that we rely on is helping us perform, be it as human beings, be it as friends, be it as professionals. These SaaS companies are bringing automation, consolidation, integration, all of these cool solutions. You have to keep thinking about um, how do you keep up with communicating all of these cool solutions to the world? Like, you know, I mean, there are people still out there, and I'll be honest, I'll raise my hand. There's sometimes that I get a little overwhelmed with how much the iOS can do, right? And there's every time I upgrade to a new phone, I'm learning about these new capabilities. It's a minor learning curve, but it is a learning curve. Just like that with our SaaS solutions, we will keep bringing new solutions to the market. The AI factor, machine learning factor, all of these things are going to improve these solutions, and the learning curve is going to continuously be there. So our education of all of these tools are going to be very important. So we need to make sure that bringing, we're continuously enabling our audiences to learn about this in an easy, digestible way. And that's the crux of it. Our hybrid model today is because of that, because we are evolving based on the trends of the world, the trends of SaaS industry, the trends of also verticalized SaaS industry. We're pharma and life sciences. We're thinking about our personas.
That's right. Yeah. So where do you see are the biggest opportunities in future? Is it in the hybrid model, or are you feeling that, okay, there's something even bigger than that?
So great question again. And I have been doing research by talking to a lot of people from the SaaS industry. I've talked to large companies, I've talked to small companies, I've talked to companies within our industry to understand how are they doing their sales and marketing, and how much of that is education, how much of that is relationship, how much of that is having to hit the targets, having to meet the targets. And again, it's not, this hybrid model is just bringing the pieces together. The pieces already existed. You always had sales development representatives or sales development teams. You always had BD teams. You always had the fundamentals, account directors. You have those. You've now got solution experts. You've got knowledge consultants. We always had those pieces. Then you also had demand gen person. Then you also had a marketing analyst. How do you bring all of those capabilities in together in one team? That's all we're doing. It's a hybrid model by the fact that these elements existed and we're consolidating them. We're getting rid of the silos. We're consolidating the quality, not the quality, the skills, and we're also now bringing these new talented people, which they don't need to rely on maybe email marketing as much as maybe they need to rely on webinars. The trends of whatever the marketing trends are, these people need to know what that is. So what we're doing is bringing automation to them, bringing a lot of simplification in their processes so that they can focus more on the relationship side. That's what's making it hybrid. And what's making it also hybrid is the fact that, yes, it is between sales and marketing. The extreme marketing and the extreme sales, this is in the middle. And the data that marketing generates, it flows through consistently and goes to the sales team efficiently, and then they're able to leverage it. And that way we also keep not only our message consistent, but our strategies consistent. So the model itself, bringing it together is new, but the fundamentals have always been there. And I'm seeing a lot of that in SaaS companies. And that's what I'm saying, by talking to all of these advisors and the network, I'm getting the thumbs up that this is where it should be going and most likely will be going anyway. You'll see a lot in the companies that there's a demand gen marketer and then there's a account director working together on campaigns. Imagine if you put the two together.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many efficiency gains that you can have as a company, and I think that would definitely facilitate the growth as well. So, just to shift gears a little bit, Wafa, you've had an interesting transition in your career, and I'd love to hear, if you were to go back, let's say 10 years, what advice would you give to your younger self?
What advice would I give to my younger self? I've lived that life where I've always thought, what would I do differently if I went back? Today, where I am, I'm in that place where I'm actually just grateful for whatever I did because it brought me here. So call it spiritual, call it whatever. I'm actually okay with what I did to come here. If anything, I would tell myself 10 years ago is don't be scared, be confident. That's it. Every time you are concerned about your career, every time you're concerned about which way you should go, pick something and just go do it. But do it with commitment, do it with an open heart, and it will lead you somewhere. You don't always have to have the answers. You just have to have a commitment to something.
Mm. So based on your experience and the challenges that you've overcome, a lot of marketing professionals, they listen to this podcast, and if you could give them one big takeaway, what would that be?
I would say, first of all, marketers, I know how hard your job is. So give yourself a pat on the back. It's not easy, not in this day and age. With COVID, I'm sure a lot of you guys had a lot of challenges. So first of all, you've done well. You've done good. Um, my only advice is, and I'm sure a lot of them are doing it already, is yeah, keep up with the trends and keep educating yourself and your teams and keep learning. Take that little course. You don't, just because you may be in a project or in an opportunity or something that limits you, that you don't need to know, let's say experiential marketing or influencer marketing. If you don't need that, you're not doing it. Don't cut yourself off. Go learn about it still. It just will give you an idea one day of how to leverage that technique. And marketing is growing so fast as a discipline. It's become so sophisticated. If you keep up with the trends, you'll do great, and your teams are going to do great, and you're going to be, if you're a leader today anyway, but you're going to be bigger leaders tomorrow. So continuous learning is probably going to be your best friend in this journey.
Always keep learning. Yeah, always keep learning. And I think marketing has so many different facets today, especially when it comes to digital marketing, that you have to continue to progress by always learning and educating yourself and getting yourself up to date. But I think it's also important to specialize in a certain area, because you cannot be good in everything. So you have to understand that you have to specialize in a certain area. So great
Yeah.
advice. Wafa, where can people find you online, and how can they know more about you?
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Wafa Sayeed-Irtiza. That's probably the easiest way you can find me. I work at ACTO. You won't really, not today, you won't see my picture, but maybe in the future you'll see my picture on the website. But yeah, that's probably the easiest way to reach me. And I'm there to answer questions. I'm there to connect. If I don't respond to you immediately, that doesn't mean I won't respond to you at all. I will, if I'm not able to respond to you immediately. So thank you for your
Okay.
patience, everyone.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll certainly include a link to your LinkedIn profile, as well as ACTO website in this podcast. Wafa, thank you so much for taking the time today to come to the show and sharing your experiences and giving us some really good insights about how to build a team and how to grow a company from SaaS to scale up. So it's been really wonderful to speak with you and learning about this transition and how other companies can hopefully follow those steps.
Thank you.
So we wish you the best of success, and take care.